Basketball award. We've got 4 possible choices from the area. Mike Dunnigan from Farragut, Kevin Dillard from Homewood Flossmoor, Iman Shumpert, we just saw him last weekend for Oak Park, and Nick Frunt bound for Northwestern from Batavia. A, Dunnigan, B, Dillard, C, Shumpert, or D, Frunt, and other is E. You can text A, B, C, D, or E to 65295. We'll check the results later in our telecast this evening.
I tell you what, I think Dunnigan, to me, is the presumptive front runner in this contest. He's like Hillary Clinton. Everybody knows his name. He's got the experience. But Kevin Dillard is coming out of nowhere. He could be the Barack Obama in this race for Mr. Basketball.
We are going to give you the starting lineups here in just a moment, but first we will pause for the playing of our national anthem. All right, the national anthem performed by the Richards Band, and we're getting set for the introductions of the starting lineups, which is an event here on the Dwayne Wade Court. This is a brand new court donated on behalf of the Miami Heat star and Richards alumnus, and thank you. It is something that it's a really special place for him, Bob. I know that the players were very excited to get out here and play on this court for the first time, as the players are now being introduced.
You know, Dave, I've covered the NBA, and I know a bunch of NFL football players covering the Bears a little bit. There are certain athletes that get to the pro level and forget about where they came from. No connection to their roots, their high schools, the coaches that work with them, the teachers that taught them when they were younger. Dwayne Wade is just the opposite of that. We do have certain professional athletes who never forget where they come from. And Dwayne has been back. In fact, every football season, I'll cover a Richards football game during the fall, and without fail, Dwayne Wade's there on the sideline, talking to people, coming back and talking to some of his former coaches and teachers, and he's got a strong connection to Richards. He's giving back to Richards and to the community in the way of free clinics and things like that, so he hasn't forgotten at all where he came from.
The first picture you see when you walk into the gym as the Bulldogs are introduced, Elliot Gonzalez, their point guard, 23, Tommy Thomas, 6'3" senior guard, Mike Denson, a 6-foot senior. Then the front court, we talked about Carl Richard. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by On Time Promotions. So our starting lineups for Richards in the front court, Prattle and Richard, Denson, Gonzalez, and Thomas the backcourt, Dockery and Brown. Brown, who's a freshman for Hillcrest. In the front court, Logan, Scott, and Marvis Kidd at 6'7" in the pivot for the Hillcrest Hawks. Check out www.ontimepromotions.com or call 847-470-1190 today. So we're just about set to go here. The game getting underway following the completion of an exciting sophomore game that went right down to the wire.
And we were hoping for no overtime, you and I. Oh, sweating it out there.
And the tap control by the Bulldogs. Elliot Gonzalez, their 5th leading scorer, their assistant steals leader with it, and Richards throws it away. Carl Richard Threw it across the court and out of bounds, and the turnover will give the ball to Hillcrest. There is the head coach, John Geppetto, in his 6th year as the head coach of the Bulldogs. Last year, a record of 26-3. And the runner is good, and Hillcrest is on the board first. Ryan Logan, off a 19-point game the other night against Bremen. And Logan gives Hillcrest a quick 2-0 lead.
A nice block there by Travis Scott, too. And they'll drive to the basket.
Right, Richard under the basket, but they'll go to the corner, and the 3 in the air, no good by Thomas. And taking on the run, it's a foot race down the floor. And then the steal taken away by Denson. Lead pass, Prattle will throw it down. Sean Prattle, their second leading scorer and rebounder, but he shoots 60%, and I think you can see why. And the first foul of the ball game is called on Denson of Richards.
And he's the guy that really made that last play, Dave, by getting back on defense very quickly, making the steal. You'll see the replay here. He's hustling back on defense. Oh, there's a dunk. This is a dunk. It's a result of Jensen's nice steal and then long up-court pass to Sean Prattle for the dunk.
Quick hands. Julius Brown, 5'8" freshman, number 20, handling the basketball here for Hillcrest. And a block by Thomas on the shot by Dockery out of bounds. How about that? Right in his face.
And that's the quarterback of Richards' football team, is an all-state safety also on the Tribune's all-state team, a terrific athlete who's headed to Purdue to play football.
Bounce pass goes back to Brown. It's 2-all here in the early going.
And it's really something, folks. Keep an eye on number 20, because for a freshman to play at this level, to start like this, that's really something.
Couple of chances there for Hillcrest, but we'll get another one. The nice up and under move for Julius Brown, the freshman. After a couple of three offensive rebounds right there, or 2 of them anyway, 2 putback attempts wouldn't go. Richards with a 2-point lead here in the first quarter. Prattle for 3. That one short, might have been tipped. Let's take a look at the last basket by Julius Brown.
He's a fearless little freshman. He goes right into the basket. You see the rebound. He gets a long rebound, comes into the basket, double pumps, and puts it up high off the backboard so he doesn't get rejected. But that's a freshman for you. No fear. Go in there among the big guys and take your chances.
Thomas with it. Feed for Denson. And Prattle finds Thomas open. Instead, back to Gonzalez with it. Elliot Gonzalez. Inside Prattle, nice touch pass underneath, and the throw down by Richard. His first points, and we're all even at 4. And all 4 points for Richards have come on dunks.
Yes, they have.
Nice ball movement that time by the Bulldogs.
They're going to have to be patient against Hillcrest zone.
Underneath, and an easy layup for Logan. He's got 4, and it's 6-4 Hillcrest.
Another nice pass by Julius Brown, the freshman.
Thomas going coast to coast, swatted out of there. Numbers here for Hillcrest. And a throw down there by Travis Scott.
We've really seen the athleticism of Hillcrest. Actually, Richards also. How many dunks have we had already? And it's only just a little over 3 minutes into this game.
We've got 3 combined so far by my count. We've got 3 minutes gone here in the first quarter. And another turnover by Richards, running the floor, Ryan Logan. And now Hillcrest will go to work. A jumper from the corner, short by the freshman. Gonzalez whips that outlet pass out. Behind the back, Prattle to Thomas for the dunk. 8-6. As the Bulldogs are within 2. And we have a timeout. Take a look at Gonzalez and watch the behind the back pass, Prattle to Thomas.
Now that's kind of the reverse of the football season, because Prattle is a wide receiver on the Bulldogs football team, and Tommy Thomas is the quarterback. This time it was the receiver passing the ball to the quarterback for the dunk.
8-6. And a timeout taken here. With 4:51 to go into the first quarter, an 8-6 lead, Hillcrest over Richards. Head coach at Hillcrest. Donald Houston in his first year succeeded the legendary coach Tom Capel, who coached the Hawks for 23 years and 502 victories.
He was the name that was associated with Hillcrest basketball for so many years. Sent a lot of players on to college, including, I remember, a 6'10" big man named Will Logan.
A technical for hanging on the rim is what we've been told.
And that sort of goes with the theme of the game here. With all this athleticism and early dunks, you know, it's bound to happen now. Somebody's going to hang on the rim.
Second one for Dockery, in and out. Here's the dunk by Thomas, and that's the technical.
Yeah, he did hang a little. I've seen worse.
Sometimes you just want to let the play get by you.
Right.
And not risk injuring yourself or another player, but in the eyes of the officials, that was not the case that time. 3 from straight on. Tipped out of there, and another chance here for Hillcrest.
Every time I dunk, I'm always careful not to hang on the rim, Dave.
Drop down, and then the cover in the corner, but Dockery the miss. And Thomas will bring it the other way for Richards. Bulldogs are down by 3, 9-6 here as we approach the midway point first quarter. Richards at 18-4, 9-0 in the conference. The lob to the low block, and a foul as they scramble for the ball.
It's going to go against Richards, it looks like.
We have 4:04 to go first quarter. Sean Prattle and the Bulldogs down by 3 to Hillcrest.
Hey, knock, knock.
Who's there?
I love you.
I love you too. That's not the joke.
It is the joke. Hey, do you want to get new phones?
Well, if it's buy one, get one free, of course I
I think it
do.
is. Hey, let me ask you a question. Do these phones play music?
Yes, they do, and they also have cameras.
Oh, I think we should get them.
We should get them.
Let's get them.
We should get the
Let's
phone.
them.
We should get
We
them.
should get them. We should get the phone.
Oh, you should get the phone.
We should get the phone.
This Valentine's Day, buy one LG UX380 and get one free for your sweetheart. And see why US Cellular is wireless, where you matter most.
So, what are we doing?
In my place, pizza and a video.
No way.
Original.
How about Chili's? Welcome to Chili's.
Pepper in some triple thick bacon with Chili's new Smokehouse Bacon Burgers. They're mammoth-sized burgers with the thickest bacon you've ever seen. Like our Southern Smokehouse Burger. The bacon seasoned with brown sugar and chili pepper, then grilled. Come in now and try them all. Only at Chili's. Pepper in some bacon. Pepper in some fun.
Welcome back to Richards High School. Hillcrest leads 9-6 in the first quarter. Farmers Insurance and Comcast Sportsnet have selected an outstanding student athlete for the month of February. Olivia Lett of Pana High School in Pana, Illinois. Olivia is a 4-year varsity starter, has scored 2,300 plus points in her career. She currently leads the team in assists. She's going to play at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale and carries a 4.2 GPA. She also outstanding student athlete for the month of February. Send an email to farmersathlete@comcastsportsnet.com. For more information on the Farmers Insurance Outstanding Student Athlete, go to comcastsportsnet.com. Hillcrest with the basketball, kept alive, and then knocked out of bounds. And it will belong to Richards as Kidd and Logan try to keep that ball alive for Hillcrest. And Richards will try to get things going. They've got 3 dunks. Sure they wouldn't mind maybe hit a jump shot once or twice. They've got some guys who can shoot.
Maybe a 3-pointer someplace.
Gonzalez to the corner. Denson trying. That one rattles off of there. The rebound Kidd for Hillcrest.
Hillcrest is 1-3-1 zone defense. He's been very effective in the early going here. It's susceptible to the dunks, the backdoor play, but other than that, it's done a nice job.
That shot by Eric Gaines, a sophomore, 32 for Hillcrest, who checked in on the timeout. Down the floor quickly, Thomas fouled on the way in. The first foul on Hillcrest.
This is a football player for you. He doesn't mind the contact. He leads with his shoulder, actually, to draw the contact, and then puts the shot up to get that 2 free throws.
Foul called on Eric Gaines. And at the line, Thomas, a 63% free throw shooter.
I'll tell you, Dave, I really enjoyed watching Tommy Thomas play football this year. In fact, 3 of the games early in the season came down to the last player of the last series of the game. And Tommy Thomas took Richards down the field 3 times for winning scores. So he's had a terrific football career here at Richards.
And of course, he played for the legendary Gary Corhonen, the winningest coach in the state, who has announced that he is hanging it up after, 36 years as the head football coach.
And I think he's the most humble coach in the state, too. I've never seen a guy give so much credit to everybody but himself.
Prattle knocked it away. Logan got it back. Now Gonzalez got a hand on it and could not quite reel it in.
I'll tell you, Gary Corhonen is an old school kind of guy, too, Dave. After the practices, after games, he would clean up the locker room. He would pick up the towels. In fact, he would bring the uniforms home, take them to a laundromat near his home in Oaklawn, and do the laundry himself. He washed all the team's uniforms. Just an unbelievable kind of guy. And to hear him talk about it, he's never accomplished a thing. It's always assistance.
Off the dribble drive, Gaines with a handoff underneath to Kidd, and it's 11-7. As we approach the final 2 minutes of the first quarter. There's Richard inside, they double him. Gonzalez, the kick out. Thomas for 3, and it spins out. And then an over-the-back foul called on Denson, and that's his second.
I think the only way Richards is going to be able to get Hillcrest out of this really sticky 1-3-1 defense is to hit a couple outside shots, maybe more than a couple, 3 or 4 outside shots to get Hillcrest to come out of that zone. As long as Richards is missing their outside shots, the Hawks are going to be content to stay back in that 1-3-1 and just focus on defensive rebounding and let them take their outside shots.
Saw 44, Dwayne McGee in for Richards. He checked into the game. Here's Logan under the basket, blocked, and Richard comes away with it. Also in, 40, Jeff Harris. Richard kicks it to Harris. Step back 3. He got it. How about that? Pulled off the bench, and it's a 1-point game.
And that's a great move by Coach John Chappetto. Recognizing that his team was having trouble breaking the zone with their outside shooting, he brings in a sub whose specialty must be outside shooting because his first shot was nothing but net.
That was a no-doubter for Jeff Harris, a junior. McGee blocks the shot, but a foul called. Here's the three-pointer by Harris once again.
You see Richards driving to the basket. He gets stopped. Harris is his outlet, and he never hesitated. Some guys come off the bench and they make a couple of passes and they do some things on defense in the beginning of the game to get acclimated to the game. This young man came in and was firing from the get-go.
Ryan Logan at the free throw line. Logan makes the first one. Some subs into the game for Hillcrest. 14, Zach Thomas. 20, Julius Brown returning. And Logan, another free throw attempt. He hit 2 with no time on the clock against Thornwood. And he makes 2 right here. And it's 13-10. Gonzalez to Harris.
Let's see if they look for Harris again. A lot of times a smart team will get back to the...
Well, they were trying to get it across to him, and the skip pass was intercepted. And there's a foul called. A block on Gonzalez. That is his first foul. That's the 16th foul. We still have over a minute to go into the first quarter.
There's a lot of fouls, and Hillcrest only has 1 team foul this quarter.
34, Mike Freeman, 6'4" senior, checks in for Hillcrest. Julius Brown with the basketball against Harris. And through the hands of Mike Freeman, who just came in, and it's Richards' ball.
Now contrast that. Mike Freeman comes in, his first touch, he can't hang on to the pass. On the other hand, Jeff Harris, his first touch, it's a 3-point shot.
Nice crowd on hand here tonight in Oak Lawn. And we are surrounded. We're in the stands on the home side.
Yes, it's packed.
You can't see it from this angle, but there is not much in the way of free space over here. Harris with 40 seconds to go for the elbow. Out of bounds to Hillcrest.
There's so little space here, Dave. I'm getting to know you pretty well over here.
Yes, indeed. There's the crowd. There we are, right in the midst of things. Actually, these are great seats.
Yes,
I have no complaints at all.
Good vantage point here.
Yep. Cold water, got everything you need.
And a great basketball game.
Very hotly contested. Dockery down the lane. Nice drop off, double up. And the score for Eric Gaines. Or check that for Travis Scott. Scott with his second basket, 15-10. Final seconds, first quarter. Gonzalez out near half court. With 5 seconds to go. Gonzalez, out it goes. Thomas for three. Good if it goes. No good. That'll do it. First quarter is over. And the visitors have a 5-point lead after the first quarter. Travis Scott puts the Hawks up by 5.
Tired of energy dollars flying out of your drafty old windows? It's time to call Feltco.
Call 866 for Feltco.
Buy your windows now and save 30%.
Start with one window or do the whole house. No job is too small.
Lock in Feltco preseason savings for 1 year with no payments until 2009.
Warm up with Feldco, but hurry, these special savings end February 29th.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feltco.
To look at it, you'd never suspect that this was part of a working landfill. That's because Waste Management works closely with communities and the Wildlife Habitat Council to make sure we can all live peacefully together. Today, our landfills provide more than 17,000 acres of protected land for wildlife habitat. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think Waste Management.
What's my car X factor? It's the Life Plus Brake Guarantee. It covers parts and labor, and you can't find it anywhere else.
The Life Plus Brake Guarantee. Parts and labor. That's the car X factor for brakes.
What's my car X factor? It's a great deal on an oil change and dealing with someone I trust. That's my car X man.
Get 2 free wiper blades with a $26.99 full-service oil change.
Don't worry, call the car X man.
Imagine what a well-tailored suit can do. Men's Warehouse. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
High School Showcase on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Farmers Insurance. Gets you back where you belong. There is Donald Houston, his Hillcrest Hawks at 16-5. And leading here at the end of one quarter, 15-10. The Hillcrest advantage. Hillcrest with the basketball to begin the second stanza. And right underneath, the reverse wouldn't go. The follow won't go for Travis Scott. And Paddle with the rebound for Richards. The pass deflected right to Gonzalez. Thomas for three. A little too strong on that one. Coming out of there with the rebound is Travis Scott.
Thomas just can't get a three-pointer to go for him yet tonight.
There's a little bump on Harris as the freshman Brown drove inside the arc. That's the 7th team foul. So 1-1 here for Julius Brown.
I was talking to Coach Houston last night, and we were talking about Julius Brown, and ever since he got into the starting lineup as the playmaker, it seems like this team has really gotten going. In fact, Julius's record is 5-0 as a starter now, so he's done a nice job quarterbacking this ball game.
Broke in the opener against Joliet, scored 9 points. Been pretty consistent contributor ever since for the Hawks.
He had a terrific battle against the other great freshman in the South Suburbs, Jay Parker from Thornton. That was a terrific ball game.
Thomas knocks down the three-pointer, his first, second for Richards, and the Bulldogs are within 2.
No sooner do I mention that Thomas is struggling at three-point arc, and all of a sudden he hits that shot.
Those other shots that come from the corner, Bob, that time he took it from the top.
That could be. That might be his spot.
Might be the next time anyway. Dockery to Brown. 2-point lead for Hillcrest. Brown into traffic, fades away, got it.
He's got some moxie, this young man, as you can see on that play.
Made a little space for himself and knocked down the jumper. It's a 4-point lead for Hillcrest. There's Prattle on the baseline. Lost it for a moment. And the rebound on the weak side, Travis Scott. Brown will try from the corner. Rebounded by Richard. Richard bound for Indiana State University. He'll be a Sycamore. He takes the deep three. And an easy rebound there coming the other way. Ryan Logan accelerating, and Richard with the block.
Richard got that one. He got all ball.
Nowhere. Prattle spins his way into the block. Ball loose on the floor. And a held ball.
Shades of Dwayne Wade. Let's check this one out. 2 guys up there going for it. It was Carl Richard who pinned it on the backboard. Terrific block. And then he gets the rebound. A lot of times people forget about that. You block the shot, you don't get possession of the ball, but Carl got it off the backboard.
Let's remind you again of our question, our text question for tonight. The poll question is the U.S. Cellular text poll question. Who gets your vote for the 2008 Illinois Mr. Basketball Award? Mike Dunnigan of Farragut, Kevin Dillard of Homewood Flossmoor, Iman Shumpert of Oak Park River Forest, Nick Fruint. Is that
Nick Fruint?
Okay. I want to make sure I'm saying Nick's name right. He's going to Northwestern.
You're going to be saying his name a lot
right.
next year. That's
From
right.
Batavia or E others. So text A, B, C, D, or E to 65295, and we'll give you the results a little bit later on.
I'll tell you what, I think Northwestern's getting quite a ball player in Nick Fruin, too. He's about 6'6". He can play the wing. He's got high basketball IQ, makes players around him better. It's the kind of player that can get Northwestern going and maybe build a winning program over there.
Sounds good.
We need about 5 Nick Fruins still, I think.
Use a few. Here's Gonzalez to Thomas. And back across to Denson. Gonzalez stops in traffic. Had to thread the needle with that one. Get into the lane to Prattle, and he's fouled. Just the second foul on Hillcrest. Prattle will be at the line.
You know, Hillcrest is a really active zone defensive team. I've seen teams play zone and pretty much sit. The players kind of, work a certain area but don't move very much. These Hillcrest players are darting out and moving quite a lot on their zone. It's almost like a partial zone and partial man.
Against Mount Carmel, Prattle hit missed a free throw in the closing seconds, then put it back in, and ended up creating a technical foul opportunity for his team in the ensuing scramble, and the Bulldogs ended up winning the game 71-65.
I'll tell you, Sean Prattle, too, is one heck of a target on the football field. At 6'7", he's got good hands, pretty good speed for a big guy. And when Tommy Thomas, every time he was in trouble this year, he looked for Sean Prattle, threw the ball up in the air, and more times than not, Sean came down with it.
Sean Dockery, the miss there, out of bounds to Richards. Dockery with just one free throw thus far. 3 minutes into the second quarter.
Prattle's got offers from both Division I in football and basketball. And when we get a chance, I'll go down that list a little bit. But he's got a chance to maybe play basketball with a teammate from Richards or football with another teammate from Richards, depending on which school he chooses. Indiana State has offered him a basketball scholarship, so he could play there with Carl Richard. And Purdue has offered him a football scholarship. That's where Tommy Thomas is going. So if he ends up picking one of those schools, he's reunited with one of his Bulldog teammates.
Well, nice to have options, isn't it?
Yes, I know. When you're 6'7" and can do what he can do.
You're going to get some.
You sure are.
Here's Brown, tough shot, blocked. Richard, the grab. Thomas Denson got a big hand in there, I think, as well. Richard to Thomas. Long deuce.
Back in that corner, Dave, like you talked about.
Yeah, but
he doesn't hit that shot.
He was inside the arc that time. Out of bounds. Off the Hillcrest. Richard's ball.
If he was listening to Coach Ennett, he would come around the horn and come up to the top of the key and take that shot.
I don't think he'd do very well listening to me. Gonzalez will throw it in. Richards down 2, right inside to Prattle. Nice little jump hook, and it's 17-16. Nice touch there.
It really is, and it shows you, as a football player, he's not just a big, bulky, meaty kind of physical kind of player. He does have some finesse on the basketball court as well.
And Logan Prattle go the other way. Here's the post-entry pass to Prattle. And it's a one-point game here at Richards with 4:01 to go in the half. Hillcrest by 1.
High school sports on Comcast Sportsnet are brought to you in part by Farmers Insurance. To nominate a Farmers Insurance Outstanding Student Athlete of the Month, visit ComcastSportsnet.com.
Having trouble getting to work after a car accident? One call to Farmers Help Point could fix that. Farmers Help Point. Sanity makes a comeback.
Tonight at 10:30, don't miss Sports Night High School Lights, presented by Farmers Insurance. Highlights, in-depth interviews, and news from around the IHSA. Sports Night High School Lights, presented by Farmers Insurance. Tonight at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
The all-new Chevy Malibu, available for this attractive price. The all-new Malibu. See your local Chevy dealer.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Welcome back to Richards High School, our all-new Chevy Malibu High School Showcase presented by U.S. Cellular. 4:01 to go in the second quarter. Hillcrest leading Richards 17-16. Richards basketball. And Gonzalez will bring it up. 6 points for Tommy Thomas, 5 for Sean Prattle to lead the way for Richards thus far in the first half. Richards on the season shooting 50%, 30% from 3. Gonzalez going into Prattle, tipped away, last touched by the Hawks' Marvis Kidd.
I'm watching Hillcrest shifting zone defense, and they're always making sure one player is fronting Carl Richard. They don't want him getting the ball inside. That's what I'm seeing, why it's such an active defense.
That time they got it to Richard. Out of bounds once again to Richards.
It's kind of funny, Richard and Richards. You'll be saying that all night long.
Picked the right place to play his high school basketball. Started out at Young.
That's right.
As a freshman, and I believe moved here, after his sophomore year? From the corner, Richard. Rebound on the weak side. Prattle goes right back up with it. And the rebound taken away by Scott. Hillcrest, the ball in a 1-point lead as we tick towards the 3-minute mark. Ball taken away again. It's Thomas. Gonzalez stops and pops. Rebound Denson. And he's fouled.
You know, I think Richards would like, Dave, Richard would like to pick up the tempo of this game a little bit, get a few more runouts, get the game in transition. That doesn't allow Hillcrest to set up that really good zone defense they're playing right now.
Foul on Kidd, his second. And Gonzalez, 71% foul shooter, misses the first. Don't miss Sports Night High School Lights presented by Farmers Insurance. This in-depth look at high school athletics in the area features highlights, in-depth interviews, news from around the IHSA. Sports Night, High School Lights, presented by Farmers Insurance. Friday nights at 10:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. And tonight we'll have reaction from Gary Corhonen on his retirement, head football coach here at Richards. 3-ball for Dockery again off the mark, and Thomas with the rebound. We're tied at 17. Richard all the way in and fouled. And a chance here to give the Bulldogs the lead.
It's one of the few times tonight that Carl Richard has had a chance to go to the basket like that. That zone defense is doing a nice job of keeping the ball out of his hands. But once he gets a chance to go slash to the basket like that, as you just saw, he's got a good chance of coming away with either a basket or a couple of free throws.
Bob, that was the third foul on Marvis Kidd of Hillcrest.
That's their big 6'7" center.
So he comes out, and in comes Eric Gaines at 6'3".
That might open up a little bit more inside for Richards to try and attack.
Richard makes 1 of 2. Prattle gets it right back, and he's fouled.
And he had the presence of mind, Dave. Did you see that as he's getting pulled down to shoot the ball up like that, to draw the shooting foul and the 2 shots?
But, well, I believe they're going to call it on the floor.
Okay.
And
he tried to do it anyway.
He was trying. They'll take it out of bounds. And the inbounds pass stolen, and here's a breakaway for the freshman, and the layup by Julius Brown.
Good court presence for a freshman.
Very impressive. Playing with all these old guys. And Prattle tied up. He got the ball back, but the alternate possession will give the ball to Hillcrest. The foul situation, 7 on Richards, 5 on Hillcrest. Here's the steal. Brown doesn't quite dunk it.
No, he's smart enough to realize, let's just get the 2 points.
Dribbled out of trouble, or did he? Lost it again. Thomas going end-to-end and banks it in, and it's Richards by 1. Thomas with 8 points.
Nice shot again by Thomas, leading with the body, looking to initiate contact, then getting the shot.
Nice drive on the baseline. Travis Scott. He's got 6. Thomas fakes the 3. Down to 90 seconds, first half. Denson for 3. Missed on that one. Nice pass to the low block. The double pump won't go for Scott. And the follow blocked. Logan had it knocked down. Prattle with the block. Been a lot of blocks here in the first half.
They got some big men who know what they're doing inside, that's for sure. And a lot of blocks there without getting fouls called. That's important.
Thomas dumps it inside to Prattle, but he lost it. Coming out of there is Dockery. Ahead to Brown. Drops it off. Layup good by Logan. 3 guys touching the ball on the fast break to put Hillcrest up by 3.
I can bet the Hillcrest Hawks like playing with that freshman, Julius Brown. He knows how to dish it. He's always looking for that open guy. He's not looking for a shot first. He's looking to pass first.
Richard, offensive foul. Richard called for the charge.
That happens sometimes when your star player who's accustomed to getting those shots, getting inside, scoring, all of a sudden his chances are really cut down this time by Hillcrest zone defense. So he does get the ball, and he almost over-tries. He tries too hard to get to the basket.
Coming up at halftime, excuse me, Bob, we'll have a recap of signing day in football this past week, and we'll also have a look at first half stats and highlights on our Chevy halftime report in about 10 seconds. And Hillcrest turns it over. They throw it away. The freshman, Brown, trying to get it to Dockery out on the wing, and now with just 6 seconds to go, a chance here for Richards. Gonzalez with 5, with 4. Gonzalez got to put it up, blocked with 0.3 of a second, blocked out of bounds by Logan. So
all you can do is bat it.
Second. Yep.
Just tap it at the basket.
Tip it. Thomas Pretty good effort there as the half comes to an end. And the visiting Hawks of Hillcrest leading Tommy Thomas and the Richards Bulldogs here at halftime at Richards High School. 23-20. We'll be back with our halftime activities coming up.
Hey, knock knock.
Who's there?
I love you.
I love you too. That's not the joke.
It is the joke. Hey, do you want to get new phones? Hey, let me ask you a question. Do these phones play music?
Let's get down.
We should get to 80 and where you.
Car, too bad, subcom, fat. My legs are sticking to the vinyl report.
Monday on Chicago Tribune Live, we'll have the latest on the Bulls, who are back home after a 6-game road trip. That plus the latest on the Blackhawks and the rest of the day's news comes your way Monday right here at 5:30.
In Oak Lawn on our all-new Chevy Malibu High School Showcase presented by U.S. Cellular. We bring you our Chevy halftime report now with Hillcrest leading Richards 23-20 at the intermission. Welcome back to Richards High School in Oak Lawn at the half, along with Bob Sakamoto. I'm Dave Ennett. Entertaining first half, a lot of action. The tempo very quick, Bob. At the start of the game, slowed down a little bit before. We've seen our share of dunks. We've seen our share of blocks in the first half.
You can see all the athleticism on both teams, and that's why both of these teams are ranked right among the top 25 teams in the Chicago area, and each one has a chance to get pretty far into the state playoffs this year.
Well, this was a huge week in high school athletics because it was signing day in college football. Let's take a look at where the top 25 recruits in the area will be headed to play their college football. Boy, there was some great high school football talent here, and a lot of them are going on to the next level.
Well, at the top, you see Nick Adamley. He's the nephew of sportscaster Mike Adamley, who played at Northwestern and played for the Bears a little bit. Jeff Allen's a big 6'4", 200-pound offensive lineman from King. See Emily Clary going to Boston College along with Nick Clancy from state champion Joliet Catholic. Sean Swinar going to Notre Dame along with Steve Farler and Darius Fleming, three of the top recruits in the entire state. Russell Ellington from Homewood Flossmoor, another good basketball player, going to Illinois. You see Glenn Foster from Mount Carmel headed to Illinois. Garrett Goebel going to Ohio State, one of the premier programs in the entire country. Brandon Green, one of the leading wide receivers in the country, going to Minnesota. Will Maddie going to Indiana. Brett Nagel going to Northwestern. Two more Illinois players, Nate Palmer and Graham Polchik. Then you got Jack Ramsey from Simeon, Supo Sani from Homewood Flossmoor, a terrific basketball player who Bruce Weber said may help him out on the basketball team. Eric Smith from Bolingbrook, and then at the end there, Tommy Thomas, who we're watching tonight, headed to Purdue.
And you see a lot of those players headed to area schools, Illinois and Northwestern. Halftime 23-20 Hillcrest.
Face to face.
They're hid behind
Nations at home.
person. It all started right.
A low bundle now to find
School Lights, presented by Fuel Sports and the new Japan's best.
Richards High School in Oak Lawn. Hillcrest leading Richards 23-20. Dave Ennett, Bob Sakamoto with you from Richards High School. As we said, a very entertaining first half. Let's get right to the first half highlights. And early on, we got a good look at Richards' Sean Prattle. We got an example of what he can do in the early going. Prattle both as a passer right there as he spots his teammate on the baseline, Richard, then as a wide receiver and going in for the dunk of the length of the court pass. And then how about that nice behind the back pass?
To Tommy Thomas, his quarterback, so he gets it back to him.
Turnabout is fair play, and then Harris with a three-pointer coming in cold off the bench. One of 2 threes for Richards in the first half. And Dockery there with a nice dish to Scott, who had 6 in the first half. And the freshman Brown right there. How impressive was he?
He really is, and he doesn't even play like a freshman. There you see him anticipating that pass and take it in for a layup.
Julius Brown with 6 points at halftime. There you see the shooting. Richards only shooting 33%. Hillcrest a little under 50%, 60% from the line, while Richards is at 50%. Rebounding dead even, turnovers dead even, leading scorers Logan and Scott for Hillcrest, Thomas and Prattle for Richards, and it's a 3-point game. Third quarter is coming right up.
Having trouble getting to
You?
I love you too.
New phone. Cameras.
We should get
This for your sweetheart.
I feel so free.
Love your car and a low price.
We're free.
AT&T big.
Slower. Expect from the big. Stick with Comcast.
We're just about set for the start of the third quarter here at Richards High School in Oak Lawn. Hillcrest leading Richards 23-20. Again, a reminder, don't miss Sports Night High School Lights presented by Farmers Insurance. This in-depth look at high school athletics in the area features highlights, in-depth interviews, and news from around the IHSA. Sports Night High School Lights presented by Farmers Insurance, Friday nights at 10:30 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Again tonight, reaction from longtime Richards football coach Gary Corhonen on his retirement. So that's coming up later on this Friday evening. Richards with the ball first, down by 3 as we begin the third quarter. Gonzalez into Richards, high-low, Prattle underneath for the dunk. And Sean Prattle with 7.
Something happened to Hillcrest's zone defense. I don't know whether somebody slipped on an assignment or whether Richards came out with a new kind of offense designed to attack that 1-3-1. We'll find out as this half plays out there.
Whatever it is, it worked. Gaines starts the second half for Hillcrest, 32. Sets a screen for the freshman Brown. Now Dockery still with just 1 point in the game. Their leading scorer, and he loses the ball out of bounds.
It looks like Richards adjusted their defense to more of a trapping, half-court trapping defense to try and maybe force the tempo and force Hillcrest into some turnovers, and it didn't work that time.
Denson in there along with Gonzalez, Thomas, Richard, and Prattle. There's Prattle in the corner. His pass deflected out. We'd like to send greetings out to Sean Prattle's family. We understand his sister Katie and the rest of the Prattle family is watching tonight. So we hope they're enjoying the broadcast as Sean misses that shot.
Never fails, does it? As soon as you mention the family, set it all up, Sean gets the ball, he's supposed to score, make it look really good.
Yep.
That's right.
I was kind of waiting for that moment. Still, he's having a fine game. Out of bounds, right back to Richards.
You can't blame Dave Bennett. He set him up with a perfect pass on that play.
I tried. All right, Gonzalez will inbound the ball. And a chance here for Richards to regain the lead. Richards' losses have come at the hands of Thornton, McClure North out of St. Louis, Brother Rice, and most recently Rich East on a putback with 4 seconds to go. That cost them that game.
That kind of surprised me because Rich East is sort of a 500 or so team, and I didn't think Richards would have too many problems with them, but you never know in high school basketball.
The ball game, here comes Marvis Kidd with 3 fouls returning, 54, replacing Gaines. Put the height back in there. Richard for 3, and it bounces in. That's a home court touch there for Carl Richard. His first 3-pointer. He actually leads the Bulldogs in 3-point percentage among the regulars. And it's a 2-point lead for the Bulldogs. Shaking free for a 3-point shot. The freshman, Brown, he missed it. And a foul called, as this time it's Kidd who gets knocked down.
I believe if my unofficial stats are correct, that's only the second 3-pointer for Richards tonight. Jeff Harris hit the first one, so they haven't had a lot of luck from beyond the three 3-pointers. Still not a lot of luck from beyond the perimeter tonight so far.
Thomas hit the one from the top.
That's right, that's right. The one Coach Enna told him to take.
Logan heaves it 75 feet down the court. Here's Dockery. I don't think they want to try to get him going. But
yes, he's been quiet tonight, you're right.
But he strikes me as a very unselfish player, Bob. He distributes the ball. He's not just a scorer. I know that's what his coach says about it. Timeout taken by Hillcrest with 6:02 to go in the third quarter. And Richards leading here by 2 points.
You know, Deshaun Dockery has a very noted cousin. His name is Sean Dockery, who played at Julian High School, was an All-Stater, All-American, ended up playing at Duke. The last 2 years, he got to see a lot of playing time with Coach Krzyzewski. And I understand now Sean Dockery is over in Germany playing basketball in Germany right now, and maybe someday hoping that he can work his way back into the NBA.
Well, he was a terrific high school player. And speaking of the NBA, as we mentioned, we're at the Dwayne Wade Court, named after the great Richard Starr, who, of course, now toils for the Miami Heat. And
without Shaq.
Now without Shaq. And while the Heat is having a obviously difficult season, we should point out he also starred in that Super Bowl commercial with Charles Barkley.
Terrific commercial.
So, you know, he's a guy whose star has really risen and won an NBA championship in Miami with Shaq, and now being asked to carry much of the load on a team that's really struggling, but he's continuing to shine in light of all that.
I really enjoyed covering him when he was at Richards too. Very soft-spoken young man, very modest, and I still remember the sectional game where he had 2 times he blocked Eddie Curry's shot. Dwayne Wade was 6'3", Eddie Curry was 6'11". Twice he blocked Eddie down low.
How about that? Not too many guys did that.
No, not at all.
And Richards turns it over.
It was
on the dribble.
Great strategy by Richards coach Jack Fitzgerald back then. He played a 1-3-1 against Thornwood. Every time Curry got the ball, Dwayne Wade was running the baseline, back and forth, looking to block shots and disrupt their offense.
Gonzalez, the 16-footer off of the rim. The rebound taken the other way by Scott. Hillcrest. Dockery has the handle on it, loose on the floor. Prattle laying out for the ball, almost stolen back. Thomas.
Looks like he's going to get called for a
charge.
charge.
A charge. Thomas called for the charge. The second offensive foul called on Richards. Second foul on Thomas.
Yeah, it did look like the Hillcrest player did have position.
So Richards fails to cash in on the takeaway. Ryan Logan, who's one of their big guns, scored 8 points in the first half. Scott, a little pressure from McGee. McGee, 6'3". And intercepted. Prattle, numbers here, 3-on-1. Thomas flying in. Locked off the glass. At the other end, Scott, offensive foul. So turnabout, fair play, and Richards will get it right back. The charge called on Travis Scott. Let's pick it up from the beginning here. Scott.
You see Prattle being very smart, just maintaining his position, drawing the charge.
Right there. Scott bangs into Prattle. Denson to Gonzalez. Approach the midway point, third quarter. Gonzalez will rise up for 3, and he got it. Gonzalez shooting confidently, his first points of the night, and it's 28-23, largest lead for the Bulldogs.
You know, I think Coach John Geppetto was counting on Gonzalez earlier this season to provide some outside shooting, and he hasn't taken that many shots. He isn't scoring a lot of points. I think he needs to come alive for Richards to really get going this second half of the season.
Meantime, Logan's three-point attempt rattles in and out. Just the 7th three-pointer all year. Denson off the glass and in, and it's 30-23, his first field goal. Gonzalez with only 6 three-pointers and 27 tries prior to that one. Towards the 3-minute mark. Dockery underneath, tough shot, almost went down.
Marvis Kidd.
Chance here for Kidd. McGee the foul, his first. 4th foul this half on the Bulldogs. And we have a timeout with 3:31 to go in the third quarter. As Richards pulling away, they got a 7-point lead. We'll be back in a moment.
High school basketball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by Bank.
Get you down and visit your favorite foods to meal.
Boneless, skinless, or chitlins. 10 pounds.
Come
this attractive price.
Let's spare Thai sandwiches $2 and only.
Chicago Sports with McDonald's Sports Rise. It's the perfect way to start your sports day. McDonald's Sports Rise every morning only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
High School Showcase on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by MB Financial Bank. MB, my bank. And the students here at Richards having a grand old time tonight.
They sure are. They're fired up.
They are fired up indeed. 30-23. Richards leading, but Kidd will be at the free throw line here.
Isn't that a famous political saying going around these days? Fired up, I'm all fired up.
I think it is.
A certain senator from Illinois.
The foul on McGee was his first. Kidd missing on the first one. Hillcrest against Richards tonight in our all-new Chevy Malibu High School Showcase presented by U.S. Cellular. Another one coming here for 6'7" Marvis Kidd. And he misses both. And
looks
a
like
lane
somebody
violation.
was in too soon.
So another chance here for Kidd.
Now this really puts the pressure on the free throw shooter. I remember when I played, you miss two, you get a third one. You don't want to blow this one out because that really looks bad. Come on, Marvis, knock it down.
He heard you.
There he goes.
Coach Sakamoto. 30-24. First point this half for the Hawks. Gonzalez nearly had it taken away as Hillcrest cranks up the pressure a bit. Foul on Dockery. First on Dockery. Second team foul.
It appears, Dave, that Richards has found a way to solve that zone. So now Hillcrest, well, it looked like they were going to man-to-man.
Yeah, it did look that way. Now they just went back to the zone on the inbounds pass from the side.
Maybe they want to give him a different look with that zone. It's more like a trapping zone now.
Here's Prattle. Finds Gonzalez cutting down the lane. It's taken away. Stolen by Hillcrest. And a timeout taken by the Hawks. As they gain possession of the ball.
There was just a little bit too much traffic for Elliot Gonzalez on that drive down the lane. He would have been better served to put up a shot down there. The player he was attempting to pass to already had inside position near the basket. So even if Gonzalez missed that 5 or 10 foot shot from down the lane, his teammate was there for the rebound. I think he would have been better off putting up a little shot right there.
While we're looking at Hillcrest, let's check out our MB Financial Bank Honor Roll inductee as we honor the student athletes for their academic achievements. Ryan Logan, senior forward, team captain, a 4.3 GPA out of 5 for Hillcrest. And Elliot Gonzalez, a 3.8 GPA, senior point guard for Richards. Those are our Honor Roll inductees this week, and congratulations to both those young men. 2:50 to go in the third quarter. 6-point lead here for Richards. Hillcrest ball. That pass, boy, tough pass to handle for Logan. He did. Thomas looked like he might have gotten poked in the face, but he'll be called for the foul, and Logan will be at the line. Third foul on Thomas.
Here's a replay. It was a tough pass for Logan. He deflected off his hands. He regained it, and then he got fouled by Thomas down low. You know, I want to applaud actually Comcast Sportsnet and Paragon Marketing and any kind of organizations or media people who show the academic achievements of athletes, student athletes, and I think it's just, it reminds people that this isn't just sports out here, but the bigger picture is education. These young people are getting a great education and going to go on to do some wonderful things in life. So, you know, you got to hit the books, you got to go to class.
I think you realize the commitment, the time commitment to play any kind of varsity sports or even at the lower levels. It takes an awful lot of time after school, your free time. If you're not at practice, then you got to hit the books.
That really impresses me. Mike Dunnigan from Farragut, the big 6'10 He's a 3.9 GPA and a 4.0 scale, but his mom, Pearl Dunnigan, sets the bar very high. He can't play basketball unless there's a 3.5 GPA, so he knows he's got to really hit the books.
The step through by Dockery, lost the ball. Showtime for Thomas.
Yes, he was loading up. You could see it coming.
10 for Thomas, 32-26, and Richards really needed a field goal. Hillcrest still doesn't have one in the third quarter. Their points have come at the free throw line. Dockery, the drop-off. They got one now, courtesy of Dockery on the drive, dishing off to Kidd, who's got 5 points here in the third quarter. It's 32-28.
That's like a play Coach Enid drew up in the locker room at halftime.
That's right. Prattle, no-look shovel underneath. The double team, and tied up. The ball will go to Hillcrest.
Nice block by, I believe it was Marvis Kidd, down low.
So big defensive play. And Hillcrest has the ball. Last year, the Hawks went all the way to the super sectional, losing to Thornton 59-47. The rebound ripped down by Denson off the miss. And the alley-oop tipped around off the glass and gathered back in by Scott. The Hawks defeated Joliet Catholic, Lincoln Way Central, Rich South, and Bloom on the way to the super sectional. A blocking foul called. I believe, on Dwayne McGee, and that's his second. So I'm sure the Hawks feel like they've got a little unfinished business as the tournament approaches. Both these teams probably feel that way. An inbounds pass, a little too far even for the speedy Julius Brown.
Yes, Richards has gotten pretty deep into the playoffs the last several years, the same as Hillcrest, and it just something missing to get them downstate. But one big play, one big run.
Both teams having trouble inbounding the ball. Brown comes away with it, lead pass, tipped back, stolen by Thomas.
That's a free safety for you at his best there.
It really was.
Deflecting the ball and keeping his focus on it.
Looked around for his blockers. 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. 4-point lead for the home team. Blocking foul on Dockery, his second foul. It's the third team foul. And it's deflected out by Logan.
Ideally, Richards would like to hang on to this basketball, this possession with 36.5 seconds left, get the last shot, and at worst go into the fourth quarter with a 4-point lead at 32-28.
Jensen has it. Little contact with Dockery, but they play on. Thomas to Gonzalez. Jensen fakes the shot. The skip pass. Thomas will take the three. Prattle got it underneath.
Kid had a big block again, too, on that play.
Yep. Out of bounds with 15.1.
Marvis Kidd is coming up big defensively. Even though he's got 3 fouls, he's still going right after Richards' players. And thus far has not picked up his 4th foul.
Not backing down. Gonzalez to McGee, back to Gonzalez, open for 3. He got it. His second 3-pointer of the quarter as the final seconds wind down here in the third. 5 seconds. Brown, the drive. Out it goes. 3 in the air by Logan off the glass. And the third quarter comes to an end. And the Richards Bulldogs looking to stay unbeaten at home, lead by 7 at the end of 3.
Tired of energy dollars flying out of your draft? Go.
Whisked away like net with easy.
Begin the fourth quarter here at Richards High School. Richards leading Hillcrest 35-28. Let's check out our Chevy drive to the net. Tommy Thomas with the dunk right there just a few minutes ago. Our drive to the net. And then in the first quarter, Prattle to Thomas. Our Chevy drive to the net. We've seen a few of those tonight.
We sure have. It's been an entertaining game in that facet. A lot of dunks, a lot of block shots. Both teams showing off their athleticism. And turn the ball over once in a while, too.
There have been a few turnovers in this game. 7-point lead for the Bulldogs. There you see the numbers on Thomas tonight. A 25 against Shepherd last Friday. 13 in the third quarter. There you see the turnovers, 22 combined.
I think, Dave, the 7-point lead's the biggest either team has had all night. It's been a pretty close game.
It has been a tight game throughout. And nice look inside for Kidd. And it's now a 5-point game, 35-30. Prattle, offensive foul. Nope. Yes, it is. Prattle took a hard fall, the charge on Prattle.
That's like the double hurt. You get called for a charging foul, then you hit the deck and you bang your arm on the court there. But Sean's a football player, he'll shake it off.
It's been a pretty physical game.
It has been.
Underneath, there's a block by Prattle. And then a foul going the other way. Foul called on Logan of Hillcrest. His second foul.
It's only the 14th foul against Hillcrest. They have not had many calls against him tonight, and the ones that did go against him seemed like Marvis Kidd got them all, because he's got 3.
He got his share early. Prattle in the corner, going inside too far for Richard, and taking the other way. Brown accelerated. Brown, look at him. Wraparound pass, but I don't think Logan was quite ready. Denson at the other end. Layup is good. 7-point lead again. Boy, they get out in transition.
They sure do.
Like that. 7-point lead for Richards. From the corner, the shot no good, and Richard with the rebound. And Dockery's been cold tonight, does not have a field goal. Richard for 3, missed that. Prattle went up for the rebound.
I think he pushed off a little bit to get that.
That's the call. And Prattle getting himself into some foul trouble. That's number 3. With 6:14 to go in the fourth quarter. A timeout taken here with Richards leading by 7, 37-30.
What this does now, Dave, that third foul on Sean Prattle, it frees up Marvis Kidd on the other end to play a little bit more aggressive now, because the guy he's guarding also has 3 fouls. So, you know, it could go either way right now. He can go all out a little bit more.
Don't miss Sports Night High School Lights, presented by Farmers Insurance. This in-depth look at high school athletics in the area features highlights, in-depth interviews, news from around the IHSA. Sports Night High School Lights, presented by Farmers Insurance. Friday nights at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. And you can get Chicago sports news nightly on Land Rover Sports Night, coming up tonight at 10. An intimate conversation with John Paxson and a look at the Bulls on the road. Join Gail Fisher and Luke Stuckmeyer for Land Rover Sports Night tonight at 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
Boy, Dave, you wonder with Pau Gasol trade and the Shaquille O'Neal trade, is John Paxson thinking maybe I should jump in here and make an impact trade like that, or should he wait till the offseason and try and sign a couple of good free agents?
Yeah, interesting question. We'll see what he has to say tonight. And again, on our high school report, we'll have some thoughts from Gary Corhonen, the Richards football coach who's retiring. It's coming up tonight on High School Lights. At the line is Travis Scott. Chance to cut into this lead. There's one. His first point this half. Scott, a 6'4" junior, one of 4 juniors on this squad. Pretty young team for Hillcrest. 4 juniors, 2 sophomores, and of course the freshman Brown. 37-32, 6:10 to go. There's a hand check, call on Gaines.
Hillcrest is now extending their zone into like a zone trapping press to try and get Richards to turn the ball over or at least keep them from getting into their comfort zone.
Playing with some urgency. Both teams are. Only one more game of the regular season for each of these teams. Short jumper by Richard, and Richard has his second field goal of the half. It's 39-32. Richards by 7 points here. Look at Brown go to work off the glass. Tipped around. They get it back up and in. And another field goal from Marvis Kidd. He's had a big second half.
Yes, he can. He can afford to be very active on the glass now. As they battle, Rattle and Kidd, someone's going to get the foul.
Well, right there, Kidd gets number 4. That's the 16th foul. Both these teams are going to get some free throw opportunities down the stretch.
And now Marvis Kidd's going to have to sit down with his 4th foul.
Ball goes to Richard, had it knocked away by Dockery, but Dockery won't get away with it. That will put Richards in the 1-and-1.
You can hear the slap all the way over here.
3rd foul on Dockery. So Richard at the free throw line. He was 1 for 2 in the first half. There you see his numbers. Missing the front end. Rebound wrapped up by Logan. Steps through nicely, got out of trouble.
He sure did.
Gaines, the skip pass to Brown. And he'll take it for 3. Rebound Prattle. We approach the 5-minute mark, 4th quarter. Denson bounced into Richard. Out it goes Thomas. Passed up an open look there for 3. They want to work a little clock here. Deflected out. They're going to say it's last touch. Yes, it will stay with Richards.
Change the call.
And I think that's the right call, Bob.
I think you're right too, Dave. The referee who had the better angle overruled the baseline official.
He had the same angle we had. I wish officials always had the same angle we had.
It was close to a backcourt call. It was close.
Yep. Richard has it taken away. Look at the steal by Brown. And Brown 1 against 2, and he loses it back. Might have been a situation there where the freshman could have pulled it back out.
I think so. He was so excited he wanted to take it all the way.
We saw him do it in the first half. Now we're approaching the midway point of the 4th quarter. Gonzalez to Thomas.
I think Richards is looking to work the clock. And you would think theoretically, when the team is in a zone defense, it'll be easier to work that because there's always going to be somebody open.
Prattle now away from the basket. Richard against 2 defenders trying to reverse it up and fouled. The foul on Logan. That's his 3rd.
And that's Carl Richard going to the basket, realizing 6'7" Marvis Kidd is sitting on the bench with 4 fouls. He's not around to block the shots like he's been doing all game long. So he took it to the basket strong and drew the foul.
2 shots here for Richard.
Free throws really become important down the stretch here. Final 4 minutes and 8 seconds. There's going to be a lot of fouls by Hillcrest to try and stop the clock.
This is the second. Denson. Alert hustle play by Denson. Throws it out of bounds off of Hillcrest. It'll be Richards' ball when we come back with the Bulldogs hanging to a 6-point lead with 4:06 to go.
When my dad sent me off to college, it was tough to leave him.
Including Oakmont River Forest, Waukegan, East.
Wireless, where you matter most. We have 4:06 to go here at Richards High School. Richards with the ball, leading 40-34, and the 3-point shot blocked in the corner. Denson trying, and it was blocked by Travis Scott. And a foul at the other end on Richards.
I'm not sure what the strategy was behind that, Dave, because you're looking to run some clock. The ball comes in, and Denson takes a 3-point shot right off the bat and gets it blocked. So I don't know if that was a wise move by the young Mr. Denson.
And they had been doing a nice job of working the clock. Denson now with a foul. the free throw line is Dockery. The broadcast rights for this event have been granted to Comcast Sportsnet Chicago by Richards High School. Any reproduction or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Comcast Sportsnet Chicago and Richards High School is strictly prohibited. Dockery makes 1 out of 2, just his second point of the game. 40-35. Thomas drives in. Thomas to the rim, left it short. Brown has it deflected. The steal by Gonzalez. Brown tried to grab his jersey. Gonzalez down the floor, and the foul at the other end. Gonzalez got away before Brown could get hold of his jersey.
It's almost
at the free throw line.
It's almost as if Gonzalez realized if he got a hold of me, it's going to be a foul. He wanted to get the layup. Here he goes, racing full speed, trying to get away from the clutches of Hillcrest defenders.
And he's fouled by Scott. So Gonzalez at the line. Gonzalez, 71% free throw shooter. Has not been to the line tonight. 2 3-pointers this half. Got it. This one to make it a 3-possession ball game. 7 points, 7 assists. He averages 6 assists a game. And he makes both the free throws. 42-35 for the Bulldogs, back to a 7-point advantage. Brown gets rid of it to the senior Dockery. Hillcrest really having trouble on the sideline.
Gonzalez almost came up with a steal there, hustling on defense. Hillcrest has struggled the whole second half, it seems like, Dave, offensively. They haven't been able to get very many good looks, and when they haven't made their shots.
Dockery, spectacular shot, his first field goal. 42-37. You know you're not going to shut him out the whole game. Underneath Richard, put it on the floor. And then a foul as bodies are flying.
What an athletic move here by Deshaun Dockery. Up in the air, past Prattle, spinning the ball off the backboard and in. And here you see Prattle trying to block that shot. Dockery doing a nice job of relocating the ball around Sean Prattle.
And Prattle picks up his 4th foul. So Travis Scott at the free throw line. He's 2 for 2. Bangs that one in.
On that last sequence, I think you got to credit Marvis Kidd, the intimidation factor. He was looking to block Carl Richards' shot, so Carl passed it off to a teammate, and that resulted in the opportunity for Hillcrest to grab the basketball.
Scott makes them both. 3-point game here with 2:55 left. Gonzalez to Thomas. This big South Suburban battle and a steal and a chance right here. Brown, he'll try to drop it off and out of bounds. It will go back to Richards.
And that's a mistake young ball players make sometimes, Dave. They get up in the air before they know what they're going to do. At the last second, he tried to pass the ball off to Travis Scott. Travis Scott was not ready for that pass so quickly.
Timeout here for Richards with 2:38 left, and their lead at 3 points, 42-39. And we're heading to a dramatic conclusion, it would seem. Hillcrest 9-0 in the South Suburban Red. Hillcrest 9-0 in the South Suburban Blue. Our U.S. Cellular text poll question tonight: who gets your vote for the 2008 Illinois Mr. Basketball? And our winner among our texters, Amon Shumpert of Oak Park River Forest, got 33% of the vote. Nick Fruit of Batavia and other tied for second at 22%. And then Mike Dunnigan and Farragut, Kevin Dillard, each with 11%. And again, we ought to point out, too, that we focused on players in the Chicago area. There are some great players in the state of Illinois, downstate, and you'll have a chance to see them during March Madness in Peoria. But for our purposes, we chose to focus, and Bob, I'm sure you'll be writing about it quite a bit in the Tribune about What we'll be seeing in terms of that award from this area.
I sure will. Iman Shumpert actually is the player that was rated the highest going into the season nationally. He was rated among the top 5 guards in the country going into the season.
We saw him last week against Highland Park. He was pretty impressive.
Not only scoring, but passing, rebounding, he does it all, doesn't he?
He can elevate a little bit. There's a steal. Brown to Logan on the drive.
Are they going to count it? Are they going to count it?
Count the basket. And one for Logan. The blocking foul called. And a chance to tie the game here.
Makes the steal, and here's Logan going to the basket. The referee's holding up that hand, and then he defers to the other referee. The referee says, yes, it's good. Chance to tie the game here for Ryan Logan, and he misses.
Missed the free throw, Prattle the rebound. Foul on Denson was his 4th.
Meanwhile, Hillcrest has whittled that 7-point lead down to 1 here.
Thomas going weak side to Denson. Almost had his own chance for a 3-point play. But he'll be at the free throw line with 2:04 showing on the clock.
The foul's going to number 44, Ryan Logan.
The 4th on Logan. Both teams in the double bonus now. 10 team fouls on Hillcrest. Richards already picked up their 10th. Denson makes it a 2-point lead. And he'll take another.
You wonder if at the end of the game here, if Deshaun Dockery just comes alive, because he has had a subpar night for most of the night.
Denson makes them both. 44-41, and we're down to 2 minutes. 4th quarter. Brown, guarded here by Thomas. There's to Dockery. No shot there for Dockery. We'll go back to Brown. How about Brown's ball handling? Dockery for 3. Long rebound, Brown. He'll put it up, hanging in the air, missed it. And then an over the back foul on Kidd.
That's going to be number 5 on Marcus Kidd.
It would have been 5 on Kidd or Prattle on that
Either
play.
one, that's right. But Prattle had the inside position, so when that happens, the referees are always going to give it to the guy on the inside.
So Kidd fouls out of the ball game. And Prattle a chance once again to make it a 2-possession game with 1:36 left. Sean Prattle left the first one short. Just needs to make this one, and it's a 2-possession ball game. Prattle very deliberate at the line, makes the second, 45-41.
Still plenty of time for Hillcrest, even though it's a 2-possession game right now. They're going to have probably 3 or 4 possessions the rest of this game. So don't rush it, get a good shot.
8 points for Prattle. Dockery, the Gaines. There's a lot of time. Brown had a tip, but Dockery got it back. Little floater, no. Prattle the rebound. Off to Gonzalez, we're down to a minute. Gonzalez against Dockery. Gonzalez into the front court. Dribbles into traffic, kicks it out to Prattle. Back
Smart
to Thomas.
pass by Prattle. Get the ball outside. You don't need any more points, Richards. Hold on to the basketball and make it free
Gonzalez
throws.
to Prattle underneath.
Beautiful pass.
Great spot there by Gonzalez to find Prattle. 6-point game, 35 seconds to go. Timeout taken by Hillcrest. With 30.8 showing on the clock. Take a look at the last basket. There's Gonzalez, started left, goes back to the right. And then he looks underneath, and there's Prattle by himself. Hillcrest recovered too late.
Yeah, give Gonzalez a lot of credit. under extreme pressure, he still had the presence of mind to look up and see Sean Prattle all alone for that layup. And that could be the backbreaker for Hillcrest now. Now it's a 6-point deficit for the Hawks with only 30.8 seconds left to go.
Prattle adds to his total. 10 points in the game. He's in double figures along with Tommy Thomas.
So the two big football stars are the leading scorers and two of the biggest reasons why Richards may come away with this victory tonight.
Well, we've seen some other football players getting on the court in Suposani
and Russell
Ellington.
Exactly. Mike Buchanan also a junior defensive end. He's 6'6", pretty good basketball player for Homewood Flossmoor.
All right, Hillcrest with the ball, down by 6, 28 seconds. Brown almost walked.
Nice.
There's Dockery to Brown on the baseline. Brown reverses it up, missed. The follow good by Logan. And Logan will go to the free throw line.
That is a huge play for Hillcrest because if Richards gets that rebound, it's a 6-point game with 19 seconds to go. You can pretty much kiss that one goodbye for Hillcrest. Logan hits the offensive boards, gets that rebound, and then puts it back in. Chance for a 3-point play. If he makes this free throw, Dave Bennett, it's a one-possession game. It's anybody's ball game once again.
Denson fouls out, gets a nice hand. Harris back in. 19 seconds to go. It's a 4-point game. And Logan at the free throw line. Just to get him within 3.
I don't want to jinx it, but he's been hitting a lot of his free throws tonight.
And he hits that one. 3-point game here. Richard will inbound. They guard the inbounds pass. There's Prattle. And Prattle fouled by Logan.
Now that's a pretty good foul by Logan because Prattle's got a guaranteed, just about, not guareed, but pretty much 2 points on that layup.
That's 5 on Logan.
Well, then again, it's his 5th foul, but there's only 16.6 seconds left in the game.
So Prattle will be at the line. Into the ball game comes Mike Freeman. And Prattle with 2 shots here. If he makes 1, it's a 2-possession game. It's 16.6.
He was 1 for 2 the last time he was in this situation, just a few seconds ago.
There's 1. Played a nice all-around game tonight, has
He
Prattle.
sure has.
And another one coming here for Sean Prattle. Try to make it a 5-point lead. And that one's good. And a timeout taken by Richards with 16.6. Our Moo and Oink player of the game, Tommy Thomas of Richards. There you see his numbers tonight. Let's check out Tommy Thomas in action here tonight.
Very athletic, and here's a behind-the-back pass from Sean Prattle. 2-hand dunk for Tommy Thomas. And there's a 3-pointer that Coach Ennett wanted him to shoot in the top of the key.
Here's his last dunk coming right at you. And Thomas is our Moo and Oink player of the game. He's helped his team to a 49-44 lead here with 16.6, but certainly honorable mention for Sean Prattle,
yes,
who
I
has
think
really played well.
If he had co-players of the game, Prattle would be right there. I've got him for 8 rebounds, 10 points, and 12 points and 8 rebounds, so he's had a nice game also.
16.6 remaining. And Hillcrest will inbound the ball. Here we go, time running down. Brown, Harris guarding, Brown, blocked by Richard. Gonzalez has it, 8 seconds to go, and Gonzalez is fouled with 6.4. So the celebration begins here in Oak Lawn.
Julius Brown got a little too excited on that play. That wasn't a very good shot to take, trying to drive the lane against 2 or 3 Richards players, and then 6'5" Carl Richard blocks his shot. That's a freshman mistake. He'll learn to look for somebody else, maybe someone like a Ryan Logan inside to get another 3-point play out of it.
Gonzalez at the line, 50-44.
But I'll tell you what, I've enjoyed watching Julius Brown tonight, and it's going to be fun to watch him the next 3 years evolve into a terrific basketball player.
Gonzalez makes about. How many freshmen do you see step up and play this much on a team?
On a really good team. That's pretty rare, Dave.
Three-pointer good. There it is with 1.4 and a timeout taken by Hillcrest as Dockery. It's the three-pointer. And that was a long time coming, too. His first three-pointer of the game. It comes with 1.4 to make it a 4-point game. Get Chicago Sports News Nightly on Land Rover Sports Night. Again, coming up tonight at 10. An intimate conversation with John Paxson. And a look at the Bulls on the road. Gail Fisher and Luke Stuckmeyer will be your hosts for Land Rover Sports Night tonight at 10. Only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. And again, Sports Night High School Lights, presented by Farmers Insurance. Friday nights at 10 o'clock. And again tonight, reaction from head coach Gary Corhonen on his retirement as Richards football coach. Friday nights, 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
I'm going to miss Gary Corhonen. He was one heck of a coach, one heck of a person.
And he would like this result right here as Richards wins it 51-47. Our next high school showcase game is Friday, February 22nd. St. Patrick will visit St. Joseph right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Now for Bob Sakamoto and the rest of our crew, Dave Eddett saying so long from Richards High School. Our final tonight, Richards 51, Hillcrest 47. Richards improves to 19-4 on the season. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of Comcast Sportsnet. Good night, everybody.